right, good evening. I'd like to call the Zoning Board of Appeals for Tuesday, May 2nd, 2023 to order. Will the city call the roll, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Dufault.
Here.
Mr. Friedman.
Here.
Mr. Rogers.
Here.
Ms. Libet.
Here.
Mr. Havas. Madam Chair, you have a quorum to conduct business.
Okay, thank you. Are there any communications?
Not at this time.
Okay, so we will move into our public hearing. For those of you who haven't joined us before, I will briefly describe how we conduct business. The city will call the case by the case number. They'll read a brief summary of the case. We ask the appellant to step to the microphone and state your name and address for the record, please. There's also a sign-in sheet, if you could sign in there. And then explain to us what you're asking for and why. Then we'll have the city read the findings of facts. We'll ask you to agree with those facts or add any other facts at that time. Then we'll receive a recommendation from the city. We'll open up public comment. So if you're here to speak on a case, that would be your opportunity to speak. And then we'll turn it over to the board to discuss and make a decision, then move on to the next case. So will the city call the first case, please?
Yes, ma'am. Case number 23-13. The appellant, Metro Detroit Signs, representing Travis Evans at White Castle owner, is requesting the following from the board. Approval of one additional auxiliary menu board, one auxiliary menu board allowed, two proposed. Two auxiliary menu boards over 5 feet in height. 5 feet in height allowed, 5 feet 9 3/8 inches proposed. Two multicolored digital menu boards, monochrome allowed, multicolor proposed. Two multicolored digital menu boards visible from the street, 0 allowed, 2 proposed. The property is located at the east side of Telegraph Road between 9 Mile and 10 Mile at 23000 Telegraph Road, Sidwell parcel 2428351-037, zoned I-1 industrial. This request is in accordance with section 8.50A, article 3, and 8.60, subsections 2D, article 11, Chapter 99 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the sign ordinance.
Great, thank you. Hi, good evening.
Good evening. My name is Marianne Dieters. I'm here on behalf of Metro Signs and Lighting. We're at 11444 Colts Avenue in Warren, and we're here on behalf of our client White Castle to request a variance, as Mr. Wilkins stated.
Okay, thank you. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
Yeah, findings of fact, ZBA case 23-13. The appellant, Metro Detroit Signs, representing the owner Travis Evans of White Castle owner, is requesting the following from the board. Approval of one additional auxiliary menu board, one auxiliary menu board allowed, two proposed. Two auxiliary menu boards over 5 feet in height, 5 feet in height allowed, 5 feet 9 3/8 inches height proposed. Two multicolored digital menu boards, monochrome allowed, multicolor proposed. Two multicolored digital menu boards visible from the street, 0 allowed, 2 proposed. The property is located on the east side of Telegraph Road between 9 Mile Road and 10 Mile Road at 23000 Telegraph Road, Sidwell parcel 2428351-037, zoned I-1 industrial. This request is in accordance with section 8.50A, article 3, and 8.60, subsections 2D, article 11, chapter 99 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the sign ordinance. To the north, the property is zoned I-1 industrial and is currently developed with a motorsports sales. To the south, across 9 Mile, the property is zoned B3 general business and is currently developed with a BP gas station. The property to the west, across Telegraph, is zoned I-1 industrial and is developed with a Taco Bell. To the east, the property is zoned B1 general business neighborhood businesses and is developed with a strip mall with 6 tenants. The site is comprised of 1.042 acres of land with 227 feet of frontage along Telegraph and 200 feet of frontage along West 9 Mile, and is currently developed with a 1,900 square foot White Castle restaurant with a double drive-through and associated parking. The landscaping provided exceeds the amount required. The site is currently under renovation as per building permit PB 22-1593.
Thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
Yes.
Okay, any other facts you'd like to add at this point?
No.
Okay. Will the city read the staff recommendation, please?
The staff recommendation is for favorable consideration for the approval of one additional auxiliary menu board, one auxiliary menu board allowed, two proposed, two auxiliary menu boards over 5 feet in height, 5 feet in height allowed, 5 feet 9 3/8 in height proposed. Two multicolored digital menu boards, monochrome allowed, multicolor proposed. Two multicolored digital menu boards visible from the street, 0 allowed, 2 proposed. With the following conditions: that the signs meet all of the applicable requirements of the 2015 Michigan Building Code, and the recommendation is based on the following. Due to the nature of the business, fast food restaurant with drive-up pass-through window, the strict application of the ordinance would result in practical difficulties and undue hardship upon the owner of this property. The proposed waiver will not be a substantial detriment to the public good and will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the sign ordinance. The proposed auxiliary menu boards are consistent with the spirit and intent of the sign ordinance. The proposed auxiliary menu boards are in keeping with the character of the surrounding area and would not have an adverse or detrimental effect on adjacent or surrounding properties. The proposed auxiliary menu boards will not interfere or be objectionable from the standpoint of traffic safety.
Great, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add before we open public comment?
Not at this time.
Okay, so now we will open public comment on this case, and if you are here to speak on this case, this is your opportunity to step forward. All right, seeing none, we'll close public comment and turn it over to the board. Mr. Friedman?
I have no issues with it.
Okay. Ms. Libet?
I have no issues as well.
Okay. Mr. Rogers?
I have no issues.
Great, sounds good. I agree with my colleagues. So, Mr. Rogers, will you make a motion for us?
Sure.
Thank you.
In regard to ZBA case number 23-13, the appellant, Metro Detroit Signs, representing the owner Travis Evans of White Castle, owner, is requesting the following from the board. Approval of one additional auxiliary menu board, one auxiliary menu board allowed, two proposed, two auxiliary menu boards over 5 feet in height, 5 feet in height allowed, 5 feet 9 3/8 inch in height proposed, two multicolored digital menu boards, monochrome allowed, multicolor proposed, two multicolored digital menu boards visible from the street, 0 allowed, 2 proposed. Property is located on the east side of Telegraph Road between 9 Mile and 10 Mile at 23000 Telegraph Road. Sidwell parcel 24-28351-037 zoned I-1 industrial. I make a motion to approve these requested waivers. For one, the additional auxiliary menu board, one auxiliary menu board allowed, two proposed, two auxiliary menu boards over 5 feet in height, 5 feet in height allowed, 5 feet 9 3/8 inch in height proposed, two multicolored digital menu boards, monochrome allowed, multicolor proposed, two multicolored digital menu boards visible from the street, 0 allowed, 2 proposed, with the following conditions: that the signs meet all the applicable requirement of the 2015 Michigan Building Code. I base this motion on the following. Due to the nature of the business, fast food restaurant with drive-up pass-through window, the strict application of the ordinance would result in practical difficulties and undue hardship upon owner of this property. The proposed waiver will not be a substantial detriment to the public good and will not substantially impair the intent and purpose of the sign ordinance. The proposed auxiliary menu boards are consistent with the spirit and intent of the sign ordinance. The proposed auxiliary menu boards are in keeping with the character of the surrounding area and would not have an adverse or detrimental effect on adjacent or surrounding properties. And the proposed auxiliary menu boards will not interfere or be objectionable from the standpoint of traffic safety.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That is unanimous. Your request is granted.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Will the city call the next case, please?
Zoning Board of Appeals, case 22-34. The appellant Andrew Zeke of Blue Branch Holdings LLC, owner, is requesting the following variance from the board. A variance of 2,971 square feet of front yard landscaping along Southfield Road, 4,817.5 square feet required. 1,846.5 square feet proposed. A variance of 11 .8 feet of side yard landscaping along Windflower. 15 feet required, 3.2 feet proposed. The property is located on the east side of Southfield Road between Edwards Avenue and Windflower Drive at 0 Southfield Road, Sidwell parcel 2412153-019, Zone B3 General Business. This appeal is to Section 5.170.5, Article 18, and Sections 5.195, Article 22, Chapter 45 of the Southfield City Code, more commonly known as the zoning ordinance.
Thank you. Hi, is the appellant here?
Hi, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. My name is Andy Andre from Triumph Engineering, 10775 South Saginaw Street in Grand Blanc, Michigan. And we have the applicants are here. Both Andrew and Vicky are here as part of the applicants.
Okay,
So-
if you want to introduce yourselves, please.
Yeah. Andrew Zelke, 4564 Oakhurst Ridge Road, Clarkston, Michigan, 48348.
Thank you.
Vicky Zelke, I'm married to him, and our address is the same.
Okay, thank you very much. So if you could explain to us what you're asking for and why, please.
Sure. Thank you again. So what we're asking for is dimensional variances when it comes to the landscape area, both along Windflower and Southfield. One of the things that you see within that color site plan that you have in there is the areas that we do have open are going to be extremely landscaped, both along both the frontages. We also included the landscape plan within the package. And so those dimensional variances are essential for us to make the development work. As part of that, and we have a unique parcel here with a little bit of a strange dimensional shape to it, as well as we do have some easements that are crossing along there, so we had to take some consideration when we did. We have some water main easements and public easements that run along the Southfield portion of it, so we had to take some consideration when we did the site layout and landed where we were. We worked closely with staff to maximize out the available areas with the landscaping. We did incorporate ornamental fence as well as some brick columns along the entirety or along the pathway of both Southfield and Windflower, and then included a number of landscaping elements along both of them. They'll provide efficient screening for any of the vehicles that are there. We also are continuing the sidewalk ends along Windflower right at that northeast portion of our property. We are going to extend that down to connect to Southfield. So we are providing some pedestrian connectivity that isn't there. That's part of the plan that we're doing there. Again, overall, we're asking for those dimensional variances when it comes to those square footages, but if you look at the landscape plan, I think we've effectively landscaped it to provide screening, and I think it would be, it meets with the spirit and intent of what the ordinance provides. Maybe a couple more. And I think it's really going to be consistent with what's going on up and down Southfield. But again, I think it'll provide a nice visual break for that corner as well. So you can, again, in the overhead, you can see the landscaping, the amount of landscaping that we are incorporating in there. So anything else you'd like to add?
Okay, thank you. Will the city read the findings of fact, please?
For ZBA case, excuse me, 22-34, the appellant, Andrew Zielke of Blue Branch Holdings LLC owner, is requesting the following variances from the board. A variance of 2,971 square feet of front yard landscaping along Southfield Road, 4,817.5 square feet required, 1,846.5 square feet proposed, and a variance of 15 feet of side yard landscaping along Windflower, 15 feet required, and between 0 feet and 3.2 feet proposed. And please note this is a change from legal notice. Property is located on the east side of Southfield Road between Edwards Avenue and Windflower Drive at 0 Southfield Road, Sidwell parcel 2412153-019, Zone B3 General Business. Subject property is currently undeveloped, recently approved for the construction of a Culver's restaurant with drive-through. The property to the north is Zone B3 General Business and is developed with the Southfield Retail Center, which is a multi-tenant shopping center. The property to the south is zoned RS Regional Shopping and is developed with the Southfield Plaza Shopping Center. The property to the east is zoned RMM Multiple Family Medium Rise and is developed with the Spring Haven residential development. The property to the west across Southfield Road is zoned OS Office Service and is developed with a vacant bank building. Total site contains .92 acres of land with 167.05 feet of frontage on Southfield Road and a depth of 211 feet along Windflower Drive. The approved site plan reflects the construction of a 3,904 square foot Culver's restaurant with drive-through. Parking required is 39 spaces with 44 spaces proposed. The building elevations reflect a mix of stone veneer, ephes, and aluminum canopies. Pertaining to properties within the B3 General Business District, at least 50% of any required front yard shall be landscaped. Landscape strip need not be provided at points of approved vehicular access and may incorporate vegetated stormwater control measures. This landscaping requirement is necessary to maintain the transitional character of the area that this district is intended to preserve. Because drive-through restaurants require a 60-foot front yard building setback within the B3 General Business District, 50% of the front yard setback equals 4,817.5 square feet. The applicant is facing hardship in the ability to provide the required building setback and parking, as well as the necessary stacking spaces, an emergency exit lane around the back of the building due to the relatively shallow depth of the existing property. This area of Southfield Road boasts an additional 25 feet of landscaping within the Oakland County right-of-way, situated between the curb line of Southfield Road and the property line. Although right-of-way cannot be counted towards the development's provided landscaping requirements, the existing right-of-way landscaping will serve as an additional buffer between Southfield Road traffic and the Culver's development. Southfield Plaza to the south has 0 feet of landscaping along its frontage. The RS Regional Shopping zoning designation requires a building setback of 75 feet, however, does not require a minimum square footage dedicated to front yard landscaping. Southfield zoning ordinance also states that in the B3 General Business District, where a side lot line abuts a street, a landscape side yard of not less than 15 feet shall be provided. Proposed side yard landscaping abutting Windflower Drive ranges in width from 0 feet at the driveway or point of ingress-egress to 15 feet. Along Windflower Drive, the landscaping width is deficient for a combined distance of approximately 82 linear feet, or just under 50% of the 165-foot frontage. At the 6 parking spaces facing Windflower Drive, the landscaping ranges from 3.1 to 3.2 in width. Besides the 3.1 to 3.2 feet provided at the parking spaces and 0 feet provided at the point of ingress-egress along Windflower, the landscaping meets or exceeds the 15-foot width requirement at all other locations along the side yard abutting Windflower Drive. The approved landscape plan indicates the installation of 16 new deciduous trees, 51 evergreen trees, 124 deciduous shrubs, 78 evergreen shrubs, 234 perennials, and 208 ornamental grasses. The frontage will be further separated from Southfield Road and improved by the addition of metal decorative fencing with brick piers to match other properties along the corridor. Of the plantings mentioned above, 22 deciduous shrubs and 2 deciduous trees will be planted at the northeast corner of the site, along with a section of decorative fencing and brick piers, which will tie into the existing masonry wall along the east property line, currently separating the property from the Spring Haven residential development to the east. Also included in the totals listed above are 41 evergreen trees to be planted on the Culver side of the wall along the east property line. Additionally, Culvers will be planting 5 red maples on the east side of the wall on the Spring Haven residential property to strengthen the existing tree buffer separating the site from the residences. Increasing the landscaping along Windflower Drive would eliminate required parking spaces and/or eliminate the drive on Windflower needed to provide easier access in and out of the site.
Great, thank you. Do you agree with those facts?
Yes.
Okay, any other facts you'd like to add at this time?
No?
Okay, sounds good. Will the city read the staff recommendation, please?
Staff's recommendation is to approve the variances based upon the following findings. Front yard landscape variance requested is expected to have minimal adverse effects upon the surrounding properties due to the fact that the property to the south has no front yard landscaping and that the Southfield Road right-of-way provides an additional 25 feet of landscaping, which further buffers the site from traffic. The side yard landscaping variance requested is expected to have minimal adverse effects on the surrounding properties as well. The applicant or appellant worked diligently with the city and adjacent residents to provide adequate separation and improved buffer between the site and residential property to the east through installation of a substantive landscape buffer at the northeast corner of the site, as well as along the east property line on both sides of the existing masonry screen wall. Increasing the landscaping along Windflower Drive would eliminate required parking spaces and/or eliminate the drive on Windflower needed to provide easier access in and out of the site, thus creating the need for additional variances and/or decreased mobility on site. Variances requested meet the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance. The applicant is facing hardship in the ability to provide the required building setback and parking, as well as the necessary stacking spaces, an emergency exit lane around the back of the building due to the relatively shallow depth of the property, and the approved landscape plan is expected to provide significant aesthetic upgrades to the site and area as part of the Culver's development.
Great, thank you. Anything else you'd like to add before we open public comment?
No.
Okay, so at this point, we'll open public comment on this case. Seeing no one, we'll close public comment and turn it over to the board. Ms. Libet?
I have no problem with this. As a matter of fact, it sounds very nice, having looked at the maps and the number of plants and so forth. It can only beautify that area.
Great, thank you. Mr. Rogers?
I would approve this. It looks like a nice addition to that area.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Friedman?
I have no issues with it, and we'll see you again when you decide on your signs.
Yes, that is a common theme here at the zoning board. So yeah, I don't have any questions either. No, I think it'd be nice to have that vacant land developed. So, will you make a motion for us, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
In regard to ZBA case number 22-34, the appellant Andrew Zeke of Blue Branch Holdings LLC is requesting the following waiver from the variances from the board. A variance of 2,971 square feet of front yard landscaping along Southfield Road, 4,817.5 square feet required, 1,865 square feet proposed, and a variance of 15 feet of side yard landscaping along Windflower, 15 feet required, between 0 and 3.2 feet proposed. Property is located on the east side of Southfield Road between Edwards Avenue and Windflower Drive. At 0 Southfield Road, Sybil parcel 2412153019, Zone B3, General Business. I move that we grant the two waivers based upon the following, based upon that the front yard landscape variance that's requested will have a minimal adverse effect on the surrounding properties because the south has no landscaping, the property south has no landscaping, and the Southfield right-of-way provides 25 feet of landscaping, and that the variance would have minimal adverse effects on the surrounding properties, and that the variance requested meets the spirit and intent of the zoning ordinance, and that the applicant faces a hardship in the ability to provide requiring setbacks because of the shape of the parcel.
Thank you. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Your request is granted.
Thank you.
You're
you very much.
welcome. Yep, have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay, so that closes our public comment, I'm sorry, our public hearings, and moves us to minutes. So it looks like we have two sets of minutes. First is the February 21st meeting minutes. And anyone have any changes or corrections?
I move approval of the February 21st, 2023 minutes as presented.
Thank you. Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, those are approved, and then looks like we also have minutes from March 21st. Anybody have any changes on those? Okay, we have a motion on the March 21st,
So moved.
and can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, and then looks like we don't have any cases for our next meeting, so staff is requesting that we cancel the May 16th meeting. Can I have a motion to do so?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
That meeting is canceled. Any miscellaneous from anyone? No. I did wonder, Mr. Havas is an alternate, correct? So we do have an opening on the board?
Yes, so we have a opening for another alternate and then a
A
regular
full-time member?
Yep.
Okay. And at what point would we ask Mr. Havis to attend? If we uncovered that there was going to be fewer than 3 of us at a meeting, or?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Anybody, anything else? Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.